Now y'all gotta see this. It's looking like this is the end of Travis Hunter's wife, bro. After she was just caught cheating on Travis Hunter with another man who just bought her a brand new car, it's officially the end, bro. But just take a look at the clip real quick.
Holy shit.
You wake up to the headlines splashed across every sports and entertainment outlet. Travis Hunter, humiliated in $20 million divorce ruling. Ex-wife walks away victorious. The courtroom that had been tense for weeks finally delivered its verdict, and the outcome left the NFL star visibly shaken. The judge's words cut through the silence. Hunter would be ordered to pay out millions, a sum so staggering that it immediately shifted the public conversation from football to family scandal. Witnesses described the moment as surreal. The once confident athlete sat slumped forward, his hand covering his mouth, while his ex-wife stood tall beside her lawyer, barely concealing a smile of relief. The $20 million figure was more than a financial blow. It symbolized a personal defeat played out under the public eye. Court documents revealed that the decision included both property division and long-term financial commitments, further fueling speculation that Hunter's future earnings could also be under scrutiny. For fans, this wasn't just about a divorce settlement. It was about watching one of the NFL's rising stars face the kind of off-field collapse that no coach or teammate could protect him from. Reactions outside the courthouse painted a picture of division. Some sympathized with Hunter, saying no one deserves to lose such a large portion of their wealth, while others insisted that justice had been served, pointing to months of testimony that highlighted his wife's sacrifices throughout their relationship. Social media lit up instantly, with posts ranging from mocking memes to heartfelt debates over whether athletes should be more cautious with their marriages in the spotlight. And now people are wondering, if you were in that courtroom, would you have spoken up for Hunter, or for his ex-wife who walked away victorious? You hear the gavel echo, sharp and final, as the judge delivers the ruling that cements the humiliation. Travis Hunter must hand over $20 million to his ex-wife. The courtroom remains eerily silent for a moment, as though even the air has been sucked out of the room. Then, murmurs ripple across the gallery, reporters jotting down notes furiously, while cameras outside prepare to capture the storm about to erupt. Hunter sits motionless, eyes fixed downward, his jaw tight but his face pale. Across from him, his ex-wife exchanges a quick glance with her attorney, both acknowledging what has just become a monumental legal victory. The details of the ruling highlight how deep the financial and personal unraveling runs. Sources close to the proceedings reveal that assets including property, luxury vehicles, and even endorsement earnings were debated throughout the trial, with Hunter's legal team pushing back at every turn. Yet the ruling made clear the ex-wife's arguments of long-term financial stability and fairness held more weight. Observers noted that her testimony, calm and steady compared to Hunter's visible frustration, played heavily into how the case unfolded. Outside the courthouse, the reactions grew louder. Supporters of Hunter shouted that he had been robbed of his hard-earned success, while others countered that accountability in marriage and divorce doesn't discriminate by fame. One woman held a sign reading, "Justice isn't about touchdowns, it's about truth." For Hunter, the walk to his car was slow, head down as reporters fired off questions he refused to answer. And now people are left questioning. In a battle where money, loyalty, and reputation collide, do you side with the man who built his fortune, or the woman who just walked away with a share of it? You're sitting in the gallery when the tension inside the courtroom finally cracks. Travis Hunter's attorney rises, trying to object one last time, but the judge waves it off, firm and unyielding. The decision has already been made. The words "20 million settlement" hang in the air like a heavy cloud, impossible to ignore. Reporters lean forward, pens scratching furiously, while Hunter leans back in his chair, his eyes darting briefly toward his ex-wife before quickly dropping back to the floor. His expression isn't anger anymore, it's defeat. Court observers later described the moment as a striking contrast between two lives diverging. Hunter, a star known for his explosive plays and confidence on the field, suddenly appeared smaller, diminished under the weight of legal judgment. His ex-wife, by comparison, stood composed as she listened to the breakdown of financial awards, including a portion of shared assets and long-term support. A single nod from her as the details were read seemed to signal her acceptance of the outcome, while Hunter rubbed the back of his neck, clearly agitated but unable to respond. Outside, the scene turned chaotic. Fans and critics gathered on both sides of the debate, some calling the ruling daylight robbery, while others insisted Hunter's ex-wife deserved every penny. Social media amplified the clash, with hashtags like #justice for her and #protect Travis trending within minutes. Memes of Hunter looking downcast in court spread rapidly, fueling both sympathy and ridicule. And now the question spreads beyond the courtroom. When a high-profile divorce plays out this publicly, does the money represent justice? Or just another way to tear down a public figure at his lowest point? You're standing near the courthouse steps as the doors swing open, and the crowd rushes forward to capture the moment. Cameras flash relentlessly, microphones push through the air, and all eyes land on Travis Hunter as he exits with his legal team. His head is lowered, jaw clenched tight, and for the first time, the football star who usually thrives under stadium lights looks unrecognizable. Behind him, his ex-wife emerges with her attorneys, moving more slowly but holding her posture high, projecting victory in silence. The contrast is undeniable, one leaving the building in defeat, the other walking out with her reputation reinforced. Inside sources revealed that during the trial's final hours, explosive testimony shifted momentum. Documents detailing lavish spending habits, hidden assets, and private exchanges were introduced, painting Hunter as careless with his wealth and unprepared for the scrutiny. His ex-wife's attorneys capitalized on these revelations, framing her as the wronged party simply seeking fairness. By the time closing arguments ended, the narrative of who was truly victimized had changed completely. The press wasted no time framing the story. Headlines declared $20 million blow leaves Hunter shaken, and ex-wife stands tall in victory. On talk shows, pundits dissected every angle, from Hunter's perceived arrogance to the judge's unwavering stance. Former players and analysts even weighed in, noting how this ruling might affect Hunter's endorsements, contracts, and long-term career stability. And with the fallout spreading, people are left to wonder, was this trial about justice, or was it about humiliation? If you were in Hunter's position, would you fight to clear your name, or would you accept the blow and focus on rebuilding what's left? You sit in the packed courtroom as the judge delivers the ruling, the weight of each word pressing down like a hammer. Travis Hunter leans back in his chair, his face pale, hands gripping the edge of the table so tightly that his knuckles turn white. The silence in the room is suffocating, broken only by the faint scratching of pens from reporters scrambling to capture the moment. Across from him, his ex-wife sits composed, a faint look of relief spreading across her face as her attorneys nod subtly, already sensing victory. The judge's final statement makes it clear, a $20 million ruling in favor of Hunter's ex-wife. Gasps ripple through the courtroom, followed by murmurs that grow louder as the reality sets in. The ruling is not only financial but symbolic. A public statement that strips away the power Hunter once thought untouchable. The once celebrated athlete now sits exposed, the shield of his fame unable to protect him from the law's judgment. Outside the courthouse, the media frenzy intensifies. Commentators replay the trial's most dramatic moments, highlighting how Hunter's confidence seemed to collapse as evidence piled against him. Social media users quickly turned the ruling into a trending topic, some celebrating the decision as justice, others accusing the system of targeting him unfairly. Hashtags like #HunterDivorce and #20 million loss flooded timelines within minutes. The visual of his ex-wife leaving the courthouse, head high, hand resting briefly on her attorney's arm, is already being replayed across news channels. It's not just a legal win, it's a cultural moment, one that leaves people debating whether this case will set a precedent for future high-profile divorces. And now the bigger question lingers. In the face of such a public defeat, how does someone rebuild their reputation? If you were in Hunter's shoes, would you attempt a comeback, or would you disappear from the spotlight altogether? You hear the gavel echo fade, but the tension doesn't leave the room. Travis Hunter slumps forward, his elbows pressed against the polished wood of the defendant's table. His eyes stay locked downward, as if staring at the grain in the wood might distract him from the reality of what just happened. A man who once commanded stadiums full of roaring fans now sits defeated in a silent courtroom, his empire crumbling in front of strangers, reporters, and cameras. His ex-wife's attorneys are quick to capitalize on the ruling. One leans in, whispering something that makes her smile faintly, her body language calm and steady, the complete opposite of Hunter's visible unraveling. For her, this wasn't just a courtroom victory, it was a public reckoning. The years of whispered betrayal, private arguments, and unspoken resentment had finally been transformed into a tangible legal triumph. As Hunter is escorted out, the press surges forward outside the courthouse. Flashing cameras capture every step, every twitch of discomfort across his face. The questions thrown at him are sharp, cutting through the noise. Do you think the ruling was fair? Will you appeal the $20 million judgment? How will this affect your career? Hunter keeps his head down, but the world now has the images it wants. An athlete stripped of control, humbled not on the field, but in front of the law. On social media, the ruling dominates the feed. Fans argue fiercely, some calling it a just punishment for a man they say lived recklessly, others defending him as another celebrity crushed by a biased system. The divide grows sharper by the hour as the memes, commentary, and speculation spread. And now, one unsettling question takes root among those watching. With $20 million gone and his public image scarred, what happens to the legacy of Travis Hunter? Does he become a cautionary tale, or does he fight to rewrite his story? Each notification feels heavier than the last. Travis Hunter's ex-wife wins $20 million divorce battle. The shockwaves ripple through every corner of sports media, fan pages, and gossip sites alike. This wasn't just a personal loss. It was a very public defeat that left no room for him to hide. Back in the courtroom, Hunter's father shifted uncomfortably in his seat. His jaw clenched tight as if holding back words he knew wouldn't change anything. His mother wiped at her face with a trembling hand, unable to disguise the pain of watching her son's downfall play out in front of the world. Around them, reporters scribbled furiously, capturing every gesture, every sigh, every moment of silence that hung in the air. Outside, the scene turned chaotic. Supporters and critics clashed on the courthouse steps. Some shouted that justice had been served, while others accused the system of stripping a man of everything he had worked for. Signs were raised, voices cracked, and the media cameras captured it all, spinning the frenzy into clips that would be replayed across every platform. As the ruling spreads, a deeper unease begins to settle. For every fan who still believes in Hunter's ability to rise again, there are just as many who think this is the final chapter of his career. The court's decision didn't just drain him financially, it redefined his public image, painting him as a man defeated not on the field, but in life. And now, the question lands in your lap. If you were in Hunter's shoes, facing humiliation, financial ruin, and the judgment of millions, would you fight back to restore your name, or would you walk away and let the world write your ending for you?